In this video, I'm super excited to share a preview game from Bettle Games that is about to launch on Kickstarter. Now, Photographic World is a game where players are wildlife photographers vying for world renown. They do this by traveling around the world to capture exceptional photos of different classes of animals in their natural habitats to win prestigious awards to be the wildlife photographer of the year. So, let's find out how this game plays. I'm Leanne and I've taught kids for almost 20 years. I help parents have fun while teaching their kids the skills that they need. So if this is something that you're interested in, consider subscribing. Photographic World was sent to me a few weeks ago by Bettle Games, and this game will be launching on Kickstarter really soon. So make sure to check out the Kickstarter campaign link in the show notes below after this video. Here's what comes in the box. You get this dual fold game board of the map of the world, 5 meeples, 2 printed dice, 1 market map, 6 best-in-class certificates, 123 continent cards with photos of animals found there, 41 tourist cards with animal photos and bonus award cards, World Traveler, most photos, and second most photos. Bear in mind, this is a preview copy, so the final artwork and components might look a little bit different than the product you would receive. This game would make a great family game for those with early elementary and primary kids learning about animal classification, their natural habitats, as well as introducing the continents of the world. I definitely recommend introducing this game to kids after they've had a chance to learn about continents, the natural habitats where animals can be found, and a general idea of how animals are classified, science and geography. This would make a great way to reinforce those learning objectives. Alternatively, you could play this game before you take a deep dive into learning about those topics in more detail. Let's look at how the game plays. On your turn, you roll 2 dice, which determine 2 of the possible 3 actions you can take. You could take 1 step from your place on the board. If you roll a camera, you could take a picture from the face-down continent deck or face-up tourist deck, corresponding to the continent that you are on. If you rolled a shopping trolley, you could buy a picture card in the market or sell another picture and gain an extra roll. This, by the way, is a great way to get rid of the duplicates you might have picked up, since they will not count for points at the end of the game. But make sure you discard the lower point option. The object of the game is to win the best-in-class certificates by collecting 3 unique animal pictures in their classes. Those are fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, birds, and insects. And the game ends when that last certificate has been awarded. You also get bonus point awards if you've collected pictures from all the 7 continents and for the most photos from each continent. Since playing this game a few times, we've learned about new creatures and where they could be found. Like coatis, rainbow milkweed locusts, and the emerald tree boas were all new to us. We also had plenty of practice in categorizing and classifying animals in order to win some of those best-in-class certificates as well. Now, this is a game for 2 to 5 players from 6 years old onward. And I have found that for this age group, there are only a limited number of family weight games with mechanisms a little bit more complex than kids games that also have age-appropriate science and geography strewn into the gameplay. I am not talking about a game that just has a science theme plastered on what is essentially a race to the finish type game, or doing something sciencey related. That randomness takes away choices and hence formulating strategies which actually then reflect real-life process. This game doesn't shy away from using that to incorporate learning. As a set collection game, there's a whole bunch of animal classification in play in order to win those best-in-class awards for the mammals, birds, insects, amphibians, reptiles, and fish. It naturally lends itself to learning which animals can be found in which natural habitat. For example, if you wanted to win best in class for amphibians, you probably would not head to Antarctica and the oceans. Players also have to practice classifying different animals in their appropriate categories. something that reminded me actually of Montessori type activities, but this time with the incentive of gameplay competition. There are also other awards such as most photos from specific continents, in which case players might start to strategize how to collect as many unique photos from a single continent. Or if players wanted to gain fame points through World Traveler Award, then they have to try to collect photos from all the continents. There are lots to work on through the whole board while identifying continents as players make their way around. While the board has different colors for the continents, they are not labeled or color matched. So players actually have to match them to the shape on the cards or the printed words on the cards. This is indeed an excellent activity on its own to practice that recognition. There's also a solo variation which focuses only on set collection in 31 turns. The object is to win that best in class certificate within a month of 31 days, or in this case 31 turns. In playing this variation, players have to determine which continent to go based on what available cards are in play. If they wanted the Bird of Paradise that was made available to finish their set in order to win the best in class for birds, they would need to figure out which continent to head to. Therein lies the learning. Players could turn the card over to check, they could try to recognize the tiny continent and the shape, but really the most efficient method is to actually remember which animals and their habitats correspond to which continents. And that repeated effort of 31 turns, making those choices really helps to remember what animals could be found in which habitats. The game ends when the last best in class certificate has been won. Then you add up the bonus points from the best in class certificates, the World Traveler, and the most photo bonuses, as well as the individual points on each unique animal picture collected. Now we found that while all of us were working on collecting as many sets to win the best in class certificate, the real decider turned out to be the bonus awards for most unique photos from each continent. I like that the mechanisms are simple enough without taking away player choices. There were different ways to go about gaining fame points, and they all incorporated learning. That narrative of traveling around the world really works well to tide our wanderlust in these times. In our family, we pretended to be photographers vying for prints in the National Geographic magazine. And playing this game definitely reminded me of the board game On Assignment with National Geographic from the 90s. You got to travel, you got to collect photos, and you got to get rid of some. If you're a National Geographic Kids magazine subscriber, you could easily add some of that flavor into your family with this game. And while I loved the artwork, I really would have loved to see actual quality photographs of these animals pictured instead, so that it would be true to the name and the theme of the game. That would have made for a more immersive game playing experience. Still, this game will quite regularly be on rotation for our family, my kindergartner, as well as my second grade kids. It's gonna get a lot of shelf and tabletop playtime in our family. If you want to learn about other science games that will help your kids process the skills and subject content from school, make sure to also check out the other videos in the links below or at the end of this video on using games to teach kids, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.